This thing is looking so sick. Finally on the ground and out of the garage. Oh my gosh. It's time to get this thing loaded on the trailer and up to ignition logic so we can get it dyno tuned. Now I gotta get that on that. Oh my gosh, it's finally on the trailer. Last time I had this thing on a trailer, it was a lot taller because it was on 18s and it was sitting a lot higher. Like the ride height is so-so, like the front's good, but it's way too low to get on this trailer. Yo, I found my captain's hat. Everyone hates this hat but me. How is it that every time I take a car to get tuned to ignition logic, it's like snowy and freezing or some crazy wind and rainstorm like last time? Can't we just do this when it's nice and you can unload the trailers without falling and slipping on the ice? Oh, just a little backstage access. Ooh. Evo 8 or 9 or Evo 6. Just look at these seats though. Tommy Mackinnon edition seats. Alright. Where the kooky at though? Time for a quick boost leak test. Cross your fingers. Andrew, is it gonna work?
I have faith. I do have faith.
Trying to get the pre-tune inspection finished up, everything dialed on the car so that we don't have any leaks and we can have a successful tune. The pre-tune inspection is awesome, and it's one thing I love about what Ignition Logic does. It might cost you a little bit more than other dyno shops, but the reason it's so important is because you get everything dialed before you start tuning so that you can have a successful tune that's safe for your engine and you can rely on, rather than just tuning with a bunch of leaks and issues that's going to basically give you a crappy tune by the time that you're done. So it takes a little bit extra work and time, and it'll cost you a few extra bucks, but it's totally worth it to get your work checked if you built your car, or if you bought your car from someone, you can know that this car is dialed and ready to be tuned when it gets on the dyno. The heartbreak is real right now. We've got a massive boost leak on the idle air control valve, and the knock sensor has no wiring. The knock sensor isn't hooked up. So we have the choice of just like tuning on race fuel and being safe with it, but since this car will probably be driven on the street a lot and by someone who doesn't have access to race fuel or the funds to pay for it, we opted to put a new knock sensor on it and wiring and make sure that it's all dialed in and safe. Alex, what are the chances?
Chances are looking good. Mechanically, we're sound.
Okay.
We just gotta wire some things.
The car is finally started. We are about to load it onto the dyno. The reason we had to do some wiring and the reason Alex is doing some calibrations before we get on the dyno is because we have some surprises in store for you. if everything goes as planned. You never know when you're working on an old car. You always run into issues, who knows. But I am pumped for what's about to happen. Not only are we tuning, which is always exciting, but surprises, guys, tuning surprises. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, Alex is tuning the fuel map right now, so it's gonna be a little bit while he gets that calibrated, and then we'll start tuning the boost. This thing is so loud, and the anti-lag is insane with the two-step. So it's got two-step, and it has rotational idle, is what Haltech calls it in their ECU. And rotational idle is when you're on D-cell and you hear the car backfiring and shooting flames. That's rotational idle. Two-step is where you have the clutch in, like that, which is where you put the clutch in, you rev it, and it limits at a certain RPM, and you hear the backfires. And what's happening is in the ECU, your engine's ignition timing is retarded, which means it's slowed down. So when your exhaust valves are open and there's still fuel, it's then combusting it basically in the manifold and spooling your turbo. It has been a rough journey with the freaking kooky build. Had some coil packs go bad, had to replace some turbo to exhaust manifold gaskets, and I'm back. So if you see me wearing a different outfit and the car's a different color, that's why. But it's finally getting on the dyno. Please pray for the kooky that we get this thing tuned today. Round 3. It is so cold outside right now. Straight up ice. I think we're finally dialing in the tune. At least I'm not. Alex is finally tuning. and hopefully we finish this thing tonight because I'm pumped to be ahead of this project. We have a trip coming up to film all of our advertising content and some really cool videos for you guys with this car in like Vegas and California, and I'm super pumped as long as this goes well. It's been a long road on this build. It's been challenging to learn a new chassis and all sorts of different parts I've never used before. So, needless to say, it's been a lot of late nights, a lot of stress, and I'm hyped to have this thing running. Keep your fingers crossed. It's always a little nerve-wracking. We're at 287 wheel horsepower, and we have maxed out our boost control solenoid and can't tune it to run any higher PSI and make any more power with it. So Alex is going to reconfigure our lines to the boost control solenoid, and hopefully we'll make a little bit more power. Flame. Yes! Well, that is it. The tune is complete, and we finished at 290. So 300 horsepower is a good amount of horsepower to get out there and like have fun, do some donuts, peel this thing out for someone to go out and drift and shred tires, learn how to drift. So it's super safe. We can do whatever we want with this thing all day. We can run anti-lag and rotational idle and have a blast on this shoot that we're gearing up for. So stay tuned because the road trip is about to be a blast, and I can't wait for you guys to see how this thing looks. The new wrap is so sick with the wheels and the whole combo of the way the car is styled. So huge thanks to Alex and everyone at Ignition Logic who spent late nights with me helping me get this car dialed and set up, because it takes a lot of work. Building a car is something that is too much for one person to do unless you do it over a long period of time, and we had tight deadlines, and Alex and everyone at Ignition Logic really came through and helped out a ton. So if you're in Salt Lake or you need a quality tune, they even do mechanics work. They can do everything from engine builds to maintenance. This is the place. Thanks guys, hopefully you're pumped on the car and the progress we're making. It's been a blast to build this car. I'm stoked that it's running and we can get this thing out and shred it and have fun with it. If you guys are enjoying the channel, please hit the subscribe button and stay tuned because we're giving away this 240. So if you're new here and you don't understand what we're doing and why we're building this car, we will soon be giving it away and announcing how you can enter to win it. Whoever wins this car is going to have a blast.